Review of the Nerf rival Apollo. The rival Apollo is in the new rival line out of Nerf. It is a Nerf brand blaster made from Hasbro, but it doesn't shoot Nerf darts, it shoots these little foam balls. Included is the blaster, a magazine, the instructions, and a few balls. Up in the front, this cool orange muzzle does look neat, but it's not an in-strike attachment point. Up top, there's a cool tactical rail. This is not a traditional in-strike tactical rail. It looks more like a weaver rail. It will fit Nerf attachments, but not in the traditional way. You sort of have to just clip it over. It will hold it though. Up top is the priming handle. In order to prime, pull back and then push forward. The prime weight is very heavy. It does take quite a bit of force in order to pull that back. And because of the distance of the priming handle and where you're holding it, the blaster does want to come back on the pivot like that. I can manage the prime just fine, but if you're maybe under like 11 years old, it might actually be a little bit challenging. And it's really not the muscle required to prime it, it's the muscle required to prime it in conjunction with holding the blaster still with your other hand on the pistol grip. Moving down to the trigger area, the trigger pull is very smooth, exactly what you'd expect from a Nerf blaster, and up here, this orange button is a trigger safety. So with the button pushed in from this side, the trigger is hot, and then when you push it back through here, it's a trigger safety, so I can't pull the trigger. Then you deactivate the trigger by pushing it, and you can fire again. To the grip is enormous, very friendly to adult hands, and very comfortable. I'm actually a big fan of the ergonomics and how smooth everything is. The Apollo is a magazine-fed blaster. To get to the magazine, you push this little button here, and then you can pull out the magazine like that. They advertise the capacity at 7 rounds, but mine holds 8. The magazine is clear, so you can see how many rounds you have left. To load, you can just put the ball right in, and then it holds it. And if you have a full mag that you need to empty really quickly, you can pull back on this guy, and it'll just shoot out all the ammo. The magazine is directional, so this is the front, and it has to be facing forward. And now you're loaded. The magazine included holds an advertised 7 rounds again, but it's compatible with the rival Zeus magazine, which holds 12 rounds. They have the same front end, so they are compatible, but it'll just stick out a little bit further. And then moving back from there, there's actually not much else going on externally for you to manipulate, no buttons. But on the back of the shell here, there's actually a priming indicator. So when you prime the blaster, you'll be able to see the little red thing, and then when you pull the trigger, it goes away, indicating you're no longer primed. Overall operation of the Apollo is very easy. You load up the magazine, you prime it back, and you fire it. It's just like any other spring Nerf gun, other than not shooting darts, you're shooting balls, and the loading is a little bit different. The initial velocity of the rival Apollo is about 97 feet per second, and that was an average over 10 rounds fired. 97 feet per second is substantially faster than Nerf Elite blasters, which their average is around 70 feet per second. If you play really close to each other in like CQB in a house, the rival blaster, this Apollo in particular, shoots so hard that it's a massive advantage to shoot these balls at people firing darts back. Within like 30 or 40 feet engagement range, your ammo will reach your enemy far quicker than their darts are going to shoot back at you. So it's a ton of fun to use when you're really close to each other. And even outdoors, they're about equal to Nerf darts, so it's not like this is inferior, but just keep that in mind if you think, oh, I'll buy this and then go to a Nerf war and wreck everyone. The aerodynamic properties of a ball are limited. But beyond the ammo, my opinion of the rival Apollo is very positive. It shoots really hard, it's pretty fun to use. I definitely like the ergonomics of everything, the magazine. My biggest complaint is the amount of strength it takes to actually prime the blaster compared to the distance between your bottom hand and your top hand. You're really creating a pretty large lever there, so when you prime the blaster back, it wants to leave your hand like this, and it really requires a firm grip on the lower hand here in order to hold the blaster still. I'm 23 and over 6'3" in height. If I'm complaining about that, if a 12-year-old picks this up, it's just going to be more challenging than it's really necessary. And the counter to that is not to make it weaker. I'm not complaining about it being too powerful, but if you put the priming handle lower down here, closer to the fulcrum, physics says it'll be a little bit easier, and that's a fact. But even with that minor complaint in mind, my overall opinion of the Nerf rival Apollo is very positive. To buy or not to buy, overall, I would definitely recommend the Apollo below if you're into the spring blasters and you want to use an unorthodox ammo. The cost of ammo is a little bit up there right now. They're more expensive than darts, but the performance is phenomenal at close range. It shoots so hard, and especially after modification, I'm really stoked to see how hard we can get these things to shoot. But hopefully I showed you everything you needed to see to make up that purchase decision for yourself. There will be a buy link in the description box below if you're interested in purchasing one. Otherwise, thanks for watching.